Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever or however you are watching and or listening to this. You guys should know me by now, but if you don't know me, my name is Holly Cisa, and I am the lovely host / creator of this lovely platform, Morning Mimosas, where we value justice, healing, and education for the Black and minority communities. And if you ask the question, ta-da, I'm a Black and minority woman, guys. So, guys, today we are in for a treat. I am super excited to have this queen on the show, but I also have to put respect on her name too, because she's also a captain, but she's also a queen, so I have to make sure I give her the respect in both regards. But before we bring her on, I just wanted to mention and give a shout out to Ganelle's Crafts, because I'm currently wearing a piece of hers. So shout out to Harley Hendricks and Ganelle's Crafts. Guys, please patronize her business. And please also, it's August. It is National Black Business Month. So please support Black-owned businesses this month. I just wanted to get that out there. Please, please, please. But let's get this episode started. And y'all know we like to welcome our guests the Morning Mimosas way, right? So let's do that. Let's welcome a captain from the Denver Sheriff's Department, Captain Stephaine Laing. Let's welcome her like this, though.
Hello, hello.
Good morning. I am super excited to have you on the show today. Super duper excited. Guys, I met her, was it last month when you guys had that 49th?
Yes, our 49th annual, the Black Sheriffs Protective Association. We had our 49th annual barbecue. So yes, I was excited that you and your family could be there.
Yes, I had taken my Irish twin, Serenity and Sincere there, guys. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. My kids loved it too. They had their faces painted. And actually, before we get the episode started, I wanted to share that picture from that day. So this is me and everyone else. It was, like I said, it was beautiful. It's a little dark, but yes. The picture is beautiful. But I wanted to go ahead and share that with you guys this morning and or afternoon.
Yes, and that is my amazing board. So that is the Black Sheriffs Protective Association board. We were all just recently elected. I am lucky enough to be the president. And so that is my board right now. And they helped put together that barbecue and all the other things we're doing in the community.
Absolutely. And guys, we're going to get deeper into the Black Sheriffs Protective Association momentarily. But before we get into anything, you guys know that we love our guests. So we actually want our guests to talk about them first. So Captain, please tell everyone about yourself first, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it all.
Okay, so first, I am Stephaine Laing, and I am a native of Denver, Colorado. I grew up in the Park Hill area, went to Denver Public Schools, so shout out to all the schools I went to, but mainly I'm a Spartan, so hey, Thomas Jefferson. And I knew really just growing up that I was interested in being in law enforcement. So, of course, I pursued that, but I am also a wife and I am a mother of two amazing kids. I have a daughter, Alexis, who is starting her second year of college, and my son, Jalen, who just started kindergarten. So, I think that's a little bit about me. And so now I'm blessed to work for a company or really I should say an agency that is really into taking care of our community as well as the community that we all work in, which is the safety and security of our jails in Denver.
I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing. So I wanted to get started with what your position is, because a lot of people do get Denver police. Well, they get police and sheriff's department confused. So I want you to break that down for the community, because I know people don't understand that.
I appreciate that you asking that. So a lot of times people do get us confused. The Denver police is usually who's going to show up when you call 911. So when you call 911 as a resident of Denver, the Denver police is going to come to help sort out that situation. If someone is arrested, they will bring them into one of our facilities. Usually they are coming into our downtown detention center. our van. It's called Van Size Simonet, and it's right at 490 West Colfax. When a person is arrested and they come into our intake, that is where the Denver Sheriff's Department is. So most of our officers are working inside of a jail, but we also have officers who are out in the public doing lots of different things. Just recently, before I got promoted to captain, I was the sergeant of our recruitment unit. So I was out in the community a lot, which I loved. So you will see us out and about doing things in the community, as well as that, sometimes you'll see sheriff's deputies we are at the courthouse. So you'll see sheriff's deputies a little bit of everywhere, but that's the biggest difference is we are mainly inside of the jails.
And I thank you for explaining that because I was also confused, guys, and I'm a criminal justice student, so but I'm learning. So I appreciate that. So Captain, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Now, when it comes to the sheriff's office and the community, what bridges do you guys build to make sure that community still being represented, but you guys are also doing you guys' jobs?
I am really lucky to say that the community aspect for the Denver Sheriff's Department started long before me. So there are a lot of organizations that are within our department who are active in the community. So we are out doing a number of different things. As you saw, the Black Sheriffs Protective Association, we do a number of different things to try to help Black and Brown communities. So one of the things that we recently did, I know that you were there for us to give out some of our scholarships. So every year we have a scholarship that's named after one of our past presidents, Tanya Dobbins, who passed away a few years ago. And so we have a scholarship in her name where we help minority men and women who are graduating from high school go on to pursue college. And so we're really excited about giving out those scholarships. But you'll see us doing a number of different things. Like just recently, we helped do a backpack giveaway over in Park Hill at Hope Communities. So if you haven't joined our Facebook page for the Black Sheriffs, make sure you join because you'll see all the really amazing things that we're doing. We are always a part of the Bruce Randolph turkey drive that we do every year. So there's a lot of amazing things that we do. And I think what's important for us is just being able to meet people where we are at or where they're at and just building those relationships, because I will tell you, when I was growing up, a lot of times when you saw people in uniform, especially in the Black community, people did not want to have conversations with them, right? It was like, the police, we don't want to have, or the sheriff's department, we don't want to have any kind of conversation. And we're really trying to change that narrative. We have a sheriff, our Sheriff Elias Diggins. He's really into making sure that we are all about leading with humanity. And so just being out and making sure that people know that we are normal people too, right? You may see me in a uniform today, and then you might see me at the grocery store tomorrow with my kids, right? So, we wear a number of hats, but we ultimately are there to do a good job and treat people well. And so I'm really excited that I get to be a part of that.
I appreciate that, Captain.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to get into the Black Sheriffs Protective Association because I really want you to talk about what you guys do. I know you guys were founded in 1976, if I'm correct.
We were founded in 1976. And with that, the organization was founded really to be a voice for the officers who, of course, look like me. So the deputies, right, to make sure that we had a voice at the table. And so it was founded to help our community as well as to help our officers. And we have continued to grow throughout the years. And so we're able to do more and more in the community, but we also are focused on making sure that we are helping our officers grow. And I'm sure when you were at our barbecue, you probably heard my story, but I will tell it again. I have a lot of family who have been on the sheriff's department. And so I can remember years ago watching my cousins study for the sergeant's test together. And so there would be all of these other deputies and sergeants, and, they were all coming together to help each other grow. And it was about climbing the ladder together. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. So I'm really excited to be the president for our 49th year and our 50th year. And I'm really focused on some of those same things, making sure that our officers have a voice and they can come to me and I can then relay that information to our command staff, and make sure that if there are any issues that they're facing, that we face them head on and get them corrected, as well as just immersing ourselves in the community and trying to break down those barriers. So, when I was a recruiter, I loved being out in the community. But one of the things that broke my heart often is that people would come over to our booth, and sometimes they'd bring their kids over and they'd be like, you see her? She's going to arrest you if you are bad. And that just broke my heart because I thought, no. And so I am so thankful that I had an opportunity to do that position, because when people would do that, and it would happen often, I was able to just kind of come down to their level and really tell them the truth, which is, hey, if something bad's happening, when you see someone in a uniform like me, I'm the person who you can come to and the person that you can trust. And I'm going to help you take care of those things. And that's the narrative I really want out in the community. And I think that we have an amazing agency that is extremely diverse, and we're breaking down those barriers on a regular basis. And so, I'm really excited about that. And so just really excited also to be the president, because when I look back at some of our past presidents, our current sheriff, Elias Diggins, he was one of our presidents for the Black Sheriffs Protective Association. Gary Wilson, who also was one of our past sheriffs, he was a president. So just some really amazing people have been on the Black Sheriffs Protective Association. Our current chief, who is also a Black woman, Sonia Gillespie, she was the secretary for the Black Sheriffs Protective Association. So just a lot of amazing people. And I think it's an organization that's really trying to help us grow so that one day it isn't, oh my gosh, you are a Black woman, sheriff, or a Black woman captain, that's not the reaction. Hopefully people are just so used to seeing the diversity in this field that it's not that. It's like, oh, okay, here comes this captain who also happens to be a Black woman. But I still get that reaction today, and we're in 2025. So yeah, it's about changing the narrative in the community.
With that one, we still unfortunately have a long way to go. And that's really, really sad because, with technology advancements and everything else, you would think that people's mindsets would have also advanced. But that's why we have people in the community like you and like me who are trying to make that change. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, of course.
So I wanted to ask you, if you're allowed to say, what is your day-to-day at a prison?
So we are working in the jails. So a little different, because the prisons are we do have actually a prison right next to one of our jails. So we have the Denver County Jail over on Smith Road, and the prison is right next door.
Right next to it.
So we have two jails that are in the city and county of Denver, the county jail, and then also the Denver Detention Center. We also have both courthouses, which are blocks away from our jail over on Colfax. And then we also do something really cool, which is extraditions, which I really found interesting when I started out as a deputy, because what we will do is there are sometimes where people may have warrants in other states, and so that they will have a warrant here, but they are arrested in another state. And so our officers will go out to pick those individuals up and then bring them back to Denver so that they have an opportunity to have their court date. And so there's just so many amazing things that we do. We have an academy also that is over on Roslyn, and we are hiring. So if there's anybody who's interested in being a Denver deputy sheriff, please reach out to me. Let me know, because it's always good, to continue to bring on the new people who are just interested in this field. And so my day-to-day as a captain currently is I am the nighttime watch commander at the Denver Detention Center. And so I supervise 5 sergeants who currently are working on my team. And then there are a number of deputies who are also working in the jail with me. And those deputies are working in pods where there are individuals who are in our custody who have been arrested for a number of different reasons. And I supervise that whole thing. So what's nice is that I am able to come in with my experience as a woman. And I think I bring something really different to the table. Because I was a breastfeeding mother, there are some times where, someone may get arrested in our intake and they're looking for a pump. And I know how important that is, right? I know how important it is to make sure that you're able to express your milk. And so, sometimes I'm able to just bring a different perspective. And I think also from the community that I grew up in, I love my Black people, but we love to talk with our hands. And I work on that every day.
I just did it now.
Yes, I am a person who I talk with my hands a lot as well. But sometimes that can be viewed as aggressive, right? In certain professions. And so I think being able to bring that to the table and knowing, hey, they're just a person like me who likes to talk with their hands. They're not really being aggressive. They're just trying to express themselves. And so, every night that I'm on duty, I am supervising just the workings of the jail, which there's a lot. A jail is kind of like our very own community. People don't realize it, but we're like a community inside of a community, right? Because we have medical care. So there are nurses and doctors and dentists and all of these people who are working inside of the jail to make sure that people in our custody get the care that they need. We also have a record staff that is, running people through different processes to make sure that all of their information is correct and we have the right people in custody. People are constantly being released, and I think our goal is to always release people out into the community so that they can be better than we found them. So inside of our jails, there are a lot of things that are happening, like GED classes and programming. And we actually just opened up a new pod where we have veterans. So there are people who are coming into our custody and they may have been in the military in the past. And so now they are able to get some additional programming and assistance while they are in, to get some of the necessary things that they need and the resources that can be provided to veterans only. So there's a lot of really wonderful things. We have church services that are happening, and it's a lot. We're like our own little community. So
wow, I'm truly shocked to hear a lot of this. And thank you for explaining that, and thank you for letting us know that, because a lot of people just think that when people go to jail, they're just locked up and they're just not doing anything. They're just doing their time, and then they get out. I did not know that there was all these other things, that all these other resources for inmates. I knew about the healthcare and everything else, but I didn't know that they had all this other great stuff. So that's amazing to know. I thank you for sharing that. So I want to go back to extradition, because you have me curious about that. Have you guys ever had to go and do any kind of extradition? I'm just gonna use Mexico because that would be like the closest country. Have you guys ever had to do anything like that? Like go get somebody from Mexico or anything like that? I'm just curious.
That is a really good question. I've done a number of extraditions, and what's interesting is I was actually just having a conversation with someone the other day where I was like, I've been to some really interesting places, because when you travel, a lot of times you go to, like, for instance, when you go to Nevada, usually a lot of people go to Las Vegas, right? Well, there was once where I went to a place called Winnemucca, Nevada. And it's a place where I was like, Winnemucca, I've never heard of such a place, right? But that's the beauty of extraditions, is that there are so many different places, and someone's like, hey, you're going to pick up someone in Winnemucca, Nevada. And so you get to go there and experience that. But yeah, they can, if there is someone that has been extradited to a place that is willing to allow them to be extradited back, we will go, and wherever, if there is a warrant for their arrest in a place where we are able to go and pick them up, yeah, we will go wherever we are sent to pick them up. So I haven't had an opportunity to go anywhere where I would go, hey, guess where I got to go? So, but I have heard of some people going some places with some beautiful beaches and things like that, but it just hasn't happened on my watch. So, but yeah. And I think, it's interesting because you have a person who, of course, has traveled elsewhere, and now they are coming back to Colorado, and the ways that you have to transport them back, which is, sometimes on airplanes or in vehicles, or so it's always a situation where there's more than one officer for safety reasons. And, it's, for me, it has been a really good experience, because sometimes you get to know a little bit more of someone's story, right? A lot of times when I'm working in the jail, I don't have an opportunity to always sit down and really get to know someone. But when you're traveling with a person in our custody and you're bringing them back, there are times where you may learn a little bit more about their story, where they were born, or how many children they have, or some, different things like that. And I think that also humanizes us, right? Because we're traveling with this person to get them back so that they can handle whatever their legal situation is. And so what's cool is they will get to kind of know us as well. And so there have been times where I have transported someone back to Denver, and then they'll see me working a month later, and they're like, hey, you're the person who picked me up in Winnemucca, so so yeah, it's it really is a good experience. There's just so many amazing things that we do, so as the Denver sheriffs. So yeah,
I absolutely love that. I just have one more question for you, because I apologize for that little mix-up I did. What is the difference? Because I know people don't know this either. The difference between jails and prisons, because people are like, that gets confused often.
Yeah.
So
there are officers who are working inside of the prisons, and they are usually run by the state. So most of the prisons are run by the state. Our jails are, like I said, in the city and county of Denver, and there are jails all over, right? So you'll see a jail in Broomfield, or a jail in Douglas County, or Arapahoe County. So there's several different jails. Typically, people who are in jail will not be there longer than 2 years. Now, there are absolutely exceptions to that, but usually people are coming into jail for short periods of time. They may be going through a trial, so sometimes that can be extended. But there are people who will go to prisons. In prisons, you will have individuals who are there for very long periods of time. They can be there for 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, life, right? So you're not going to have a person who's in jail for life. So most of the time they are coming in and they're just with us for a short period of time to go through all of their legal proceedings, and then they are either releasing back out into the community, or potentially they could be going to community corrections, right? Like into a halfway house or something like that. They could also be going to prison. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Captain, do you have any last words for our morning mimosa viewers anything you'd like the public to know about you, the association, the Denver Sheriff's Department?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. I love that you reached out to me. That meant a lot. And I think it's just good to have an opportunity to get our story out there and tell our story the way that we want to tell it. And also to help break down the narrative. And we can't do that without people like you. Right. So thank you for really just giving me an opportunity to just voice some of the things that we do. And then also an opportunity to support you and your podcast and vice versa. So I really appreciate that. And, I don't think there's a whole lot more that I want to say, but if you see the Black sheriffs out at some community, please come up, say hi. If you see our sheriff's deputies out doing anything, please stop and say hi, because the truth is we love being in the community and we really do want to help people. And sometimes people are just having a really bad day when they got arrested. I know that sometimes people can think, oh my goodness, people are such bad people, but really sometimes they just had a really bad day. And we're there to meet those people where they're at and help them get back out into the community. Like I said, hopefully better than we found them. And I always like it when I get to see people in the community who are aware of what we are doing. So please stop and say hi if you see us.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Captain Laing, for being on Morning Mimosas today. We so appreciate you. We hope that you can come back so you can educate the community a little bit more.
Of course. And anytime you invite me, I will be there.
I appreciate that. Guys, this is Morning Mimosas. As you guys know, we value justice, healing, and education for the Black and minority communities. We will see you guys next time. Until then, ta-ta.
Bye.